Hey friends, welcome to my channel. Today I'm doing my 26 of 2026. So these are the 26 books that I will read in 2026. This is kind of a strict TBR. These are books that have been on my shelf for a while or I'm really anticipating getting to read this year. Knowing me, I am a huge mood reader, so if I don't give myself a strict guide, then I will read romance the entire year. And the whole point of this challenge is to broaden my reading and to maybe pick up some books that I may have forgotten about. So let's go ahead and get into the video. This first category is my contemporary romance books. These are the books I'll reach for whenever I want something cozy, vibey, full of chemistry, and just something that I'll read for comfort. First, we have Picking Daisies on Sunday. This is a cozy, sort of small town romance that is perfect for a slow reading mood. This is my current read that I'm reading right now, and I'm reading it on my Kindle. Our second book is Done and Dusted. This is a cowboy romance about a brother's best friend. So I'm really excited to get into that one. Our third book is Funny Story by Emily Henry. If y'all know me, y'all know that Emily Henry is one of my favorite romance writers. And this book is a fake dating trope. And let me just read you the last line. But it's all for show, of course, because there's no way Daphne would actually start a new chapter by falling in love with her ex fiance's new fiance's ex, right? Messy. I'm so excited for this read. Up next, we have Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. I've never read one of her contemporary romances before, but I am a huge fan of Bride and Mate by Ali Hazelwood. I love her werewolf books. So I'm excited to read this. It's about a swimmer and a competitive diver, and I believe that they have some sort of arrangement, and we know how those go. Next, we have An Academic Affair. This is a academic rivals romance, which I'm so excited to read. I haven't read one of these types of books since probably my Wattpad days. So I'm very excited to get into this. I've never read anything by Jodi McAllister before. I'm excited. This is one of my book of the month books. So yet another book of the month book. This is Head Over Heels by Hannah Orenstein. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. This is about a gymnast who has a disastrous performance, has to return back home where she runs into an old friend who is now coaching a young prospect gymnast, and sparks start flying. So I'm excited to read this one. Next, we have The Wedding People. I don't know too much about this book, only that I've heard a lot of people raving about it. From my understanding, it's an introspective emotional romance that takes place over a wedding weekend. So I don't own that one yet, but I will be buying that soon. Next, we have The Fine Print. I've had this on my bookshelf for probably 2 years. I don't know why I never got around to picking it up. It's a billionaire romance with like a grumpy sunshine vibe, and that's right up my alley. So I don't know why I haven't picked that one up yet. Lastly, we have First Time Caller. This is a cozy romance centered around a late night radio show and unexpected emotional connections. So I don't know too much about that one, but I saw it on Book of the Month and I will be getting that soon. This next category is thrillers. These are fast paced, twisty, and very one more chapter energy. These are the books I'll reach for whenever I get put into a reading slump. Our first book in this category is First Lie Wins. This is one of my book of the month books that I never got around to reading. This is a high tension thriller about deception, shifting identities, and long term cons. So, our next book is Verity by Colleen Hoover. I'm not a fan of Colleen Hoover, but I've made it my goal this year to read books that are out of my comfort zone. That includes authors who are out of my comfort zone. So, I'm going to read this year. The next book I am so excited for, it's called Not Quite Dead Yet. As soon as I read the synopsis of this book, I knew immediately I had to read it this year. Essentially, this book is about a woman who is about to die and she has to solve a crime involving herself. I'm so excited for it. The next book is, I'm sure, one that everybody has heard about, but since the movie just came out, I want to read the book before I watch the movie. So, the book I will be reading in 2026 is The Housemaid. From what I know about this book, it's a domestic thriller about unreliable characters, secrets, and twists. The last book in this category is Dark Matter. This is a sci fi thriller that explores alternate realities, consequences of choices, and identity. This book has been on my shelf for honestly way too long, and I'm very excited to finally get to it this year. This next category are my fantasy books. This is my all-time favorite genre, especially when it's a good romance scene. These are the books I will reach for whenever I just want to escape reality and go into the world of Narnia, Hogwarts, Perithian, if that's how you pronounce it. Starting off strong, my first book will be Throne of Glass. Now, I have read Throne of Glass, kind of. When I first picked it up, I had just finished reading Fourth Wing, which really put me into a reading slump. And so I noticed that while I started this series, I was not paying attention. I could not tell you a single thing that I read when I read this originally. So I'm going to go back and I will read the whole Throne of Glass series this year. That is my goal this year. For those of you who don't know, this is one of Sarah J. Maas's largest series. It is a high fantasy series about an assassin who gets pulled into magic, politics, and all that fun stuff. Our next book is Ninth House. I've had this on my shelf for quite some time, but she's a big book, so I never got around to it. This is a dark academia fantasy vibe involving secret societies, magic rituals, and murder. Next, I just got this book from Book of the Month. It is gorgeous. Do you see that? This is We Who Will Die by Dacia Stark. I might be saying that incorrectly. This is a brutal fantasy with trials, survival themes, and emotional stakes. Next, we have Rebel Witch. This is the second book in the Heartless Hunter series. I loved Heartless Hunter. I'm so excited that I finally got my hands on this book and I will be reading it this year. Next, we have Our Infinite Fate. This is a fantasy romance about reincarnation, fate, and finding love across lifetimes. It sounds like it's going to be cute and emotional. This next book, I honestly just gravitated to it on Book of the Month because it is such a cute book cover. I know, don't judge a book by its cover, but when you see this book, it is so cute. This is Violet Thistlethwaite is not a villain anymore. This is a fantasy redemption story about rewriting your role after you've been labeled a villain. So it looks adorable, and I'm really excited to read it. Lastly, we have Quicksilver by Callie Hart. This is a dark fantasy romance about morally gray characters and intense emotional stakes. Our next category is our dark romance reads. These are my darker romances that are messy, morally gray, and definitely not light reads. First up, we have Butcher and Blackbird. This is a dark romance about two serial killers whose romance is both violent and obsessive. Next, we have Phantasma. This is a gothic dark romance with death imagery, obsession, and an eerie atmosphere. Lastly, we have Tell Me Lies. This is a book about a toxic and emotionally intense relationship that is full of manipulation and obsession. Our last category is fiction. These last two books are more reflective and emotional fiction books, and one specifically is a personal recommendation to me. Our first book is The Midnight Library. This is a reflective novel about regret, alternate lives, and how the choices that we make shape us. And my last book is The Women by Kristen Hanna. This is a personal recommendation to me from my Nana, who read it in her book club and immediately called me up and she said, "Do you know this author?" And I said, "I've heard of her. What about her?" And she said, "She has written the most beautiful books that I've ever read." And so now she just keeps sending me recommendations about Kristen Hanna. This book specifically is a historical fiction about women during the Vietnam War. That hits home for me because my papa was a Vietnam vet. So I'm very excited to read this one. Well, guys, that is our 26 of 2026. Let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these books and what books you think I should get to first. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post new videos every Sunday. My socials will be linked down below. Go ahead and follow me on there too if you liked what you saw and want to see more of me. Otherwise, that's all I've got for you today. I will see y'all next week. Bye.